Hey everyone, this is Ramon with Tech Did This. Welcome to my channel. We're here to talk about Agile, just kidding, artificial intelligence. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you a little bit about something personal. I have a small celebration to do, I think, for myself with this video because it's my 10th upload. So I feel like I'd like to share a little bit about me and basically why bother listening to me. So why bother listening to me? So I like to say that I'm a type of common folk person. So if you know me in real life, you probably heard me say this. And what does that mean is I don't come from a wealthy background. My parents are both immigrants. They're both high school dropouts. They busted their nalgas to really give everything they could to the family and really have glory. And I think they really did because I want to say that I took a lot of that. So gracias mamá and papa because of what they've done. They basically, I would say, are stamped all over my success, even though they won't take it that way for sure. So I have over 15 years of work experience, and I come from mainly an IT background. I'm currently a business process manager for a global retail company, and just for formalities and respect, my views and my comments are my own. I currently work for the HR function, but I also have sales and operations experience as well. I'm certified in project management professional and disciplined agile scrum master from PMI, and I also have an ITIL 4 foundation certification. I'm really big on sharing knowledge and paying it forward, and I have this new kind of mantra, or like my statement of sharing knowledge and helping people uncover value that's swept under the rug. I've learned through my professional experience that sometimes value is just there, it's hidden. It takes a person to ask a question or be super curious, and sometimes you just have to really look. And you don't always need new things, but yeah, it's really interesting what I've experienced in terms of finding value in the organization. And yeah, one thing I also want to commit with this video and channel is that I don't ever plan to, depending how it grows, I've seen traditional, a lot of people would make some sort of like buy my program to gain X amount of followers or make money and things like that. So I think if I was to do something like that, or my path kind of starts looking that way, that I'm not really keeping to what has driven me to make this channel. So again, for me, it's really about sharing knowledge. I'm so passionate about helping people in technology and helping increase tech savviness. So that's what this will be. And now let's get to the real content of the video. Okay, so why do I want to talk about AI? As my title states, buzzword agile, just kidding. I think in 2020, right, it became a trend or industry movement in terms of becoming agile, and you realize that some people misunderstand what agile truly is. So I thought it was funny to think about AI in this day and age because it's nothing new, just like agile wasn't nothing new in 2020. It's just that, we need to adapt as human beings. Companies are companies, but human beings drive the companies. So we need to respond in the best possible way. And I think that's happening right now with AI. And I'm not an expert, definitely not. But I'm very curious about the technology in terms of what's available to use now and what's the potential, what it could become. So I really wanted to talk about this, and also because I sense a lot of fear with it. And of course, because it's new in terms of consumers being able to see it and use it, versus, again, I'm sure this has existed for many years in different types of ways. And I think it's a great topic to talk about because it's something to definitely stay on top of, and so you can actually either be educated and knowledgeable of what you could do now, but then also what you can do later as it develops and progresses into something even bigger than what it currently is at the moment. So regarding the fear, it's a lot of unknown, and I think when you read articles, read forums like on Reddit, posts on Instagram, news articles on the internet, and water cooler chats or talks in the office environment, family members, if you do that, which is freaking awesome if you talk to your family about technology things. What does the fear feel or sense like? And because obviously it's uncertainty that kind of maybe it stems from. I think mostly people think about, I'm going to lose my job is going to change, it's going to delete jobs, it's going to do a lot of negative things, for example, and I think that's human. I think that's normal, and I think I started. I would say I maybe might have sensed something like this for myself, but again, when you think historically of like things like this, Y2K, cell phones, new technological platforms, think about where before you used to either only be able to call a company to get customer service, then it evolved to emails, then it evolved to incidents, ticketing platform, and now you have a lot of bots that respond to you, but you probably have that experience now that you can type something like live agent, and then that should kick in the trigger for a real human person to come and chat with you on the platform. So think about how that evolved, and also in 2020, right? So when the pandemic, when everything shut down back in March of 2020, companies, we didn't have statements or language where we're saying pick up in store, services like that, or buy online, pick up in store, contactless payment. Again, all these things weren't really there. At least for me, I'll speak on that side, that I had never heard about these services or types of way of getting products or services. And look at where we are now. There's still companies that don't have some of these. There's companies that have this and even more now. So there's an impact, of course. And so going back to the fear, I want to speak specifically about what I believe will change and who will change. So talking about the what, I think the dependency on AI is really what is going to change or kind of be huge on, because if using the examples that I said about like contactless payment, pickup in store and things like that, that to me is really what is something I'm keeping an eye on, or just observing, reading information on, like how will our dependency be with AI in the future, to think about. And I'll expand on this a little bit more in an example that I want to talk about in a little bit. And then who will change. So I'm going to give kudos to Ricardo Vargas, you should look him up. He's a consultant, a business professional. I was doing his LinkedIn learning on project management AI, and he mentioned something interesting about project managers. What would change for project managers? Well, AI is around the project managers that don't educate themselves on using AI tools to manage projects. That really stuck out to me because, again, kind of when you think about fear, it may stop you from doing something because you're so concerned about it. So you're going to evade it, you're going to cope with it in a way that maybe is not the best. And that really stood out to me because I think that is very true. I think he's spot on that if you're a person that is not going to embrace something, and you kind of, because you're in fear of it, you may put it to the side or ignore it, it will not go away. This is inevitable. It's something that, it's going to, again, go even bigger in my opinion. So I think this really resonated with me, and another reason why I wanted to make this video, because that's something for you to really keep an eye out. So if you're a person that with your responsibilities in the workforce is using Excel documents, using email and communication, standard kind of day-to-day things, think of how AI tools will help you be faster, be more quality in your deliverables, and you really need to pay attention to this, because that's what I think this means. So if you think about 20, 30 years from now, you as a person, right? If you're put up against a person that has the same or similar experience as you, but they also have this knowledge about how to be more productive, or their productivity is much faster because they're knowledgeable in AI tools. And AI tools, there's many, but the main one obviously is ChatGPT, but Google also has Bard, Microsoft has Copilot, and they also, I think, had Bing for a moment. I'm not sure what they're doing with that, but so a person that knows that information and can deliver better speaks about these things, versus a person that stuck to their traditional ways. You kind of know who would be the most attractive kind of talent to have in your team, in your company, or in your group for a project and things like that. So I really think that's something that you want to pay attention to. And now I'm going to go back to the what. So what I was talking about, the what, right, was the dependency on AI. So the dependency. Right now, when you think about digital assistants or physical assistants, real people, think of CEOs or some executive roles in companies. they literally have an assistant, a human being that's managing their calendars, their schedules, their email communications, and things like that. So what if this type of work can be digital, where we'll still have human beings as assistants for certain roles, because maybe some executives are really that busy, or that's just they want to stick to their traditional ways, and that's great because then you secure jobs for the future and things like that. But then now the accessibility of having an assistant becomes much larger. So think of Microsoft 365 Suite or Outlook, Excel, right? These kind of things. If there's a service, these companies start creating digital AI assistants for any person in the workforce, right? So think of office worker A and office worker B. I'm going to stick to office environment just for the context and the examples, much easier to articulate. So employee A and employee B both have AI A, AI B. So if they have a digital assistant and they're working independently and doing their own thing, kind of picture and envision this in the future that if you update your AI, so employee A and employee B are updating their AIs by just updating their own calendars. They've configured their AIs to like have full access to their information, so they're updating their calendars. Let's say employee A marks that they're gonna be out of office for the week of New Year's. So then their AI picks this up and lets them know, hey, you have some meetings. Would you like me to re-coordinate or re-communicate and suggest some changes to these meetings to the organizers? You would either put yes, if that's how you set it up, or it just does it automatically for you because you pre-configured that AI to work for you in that kind of sense. I'm sure there'd be many different kind of features. So then employee A's AI goes to employee B's AI and talks to the AI, doesn't talk to employee B, doesn't set up a meeting, let's talk about this, doesn't send an email. It's AI talking to the AI saying, hey, employee A is gonna be off during this time and you had 3 meetings scheduled with them. Heads up, you may want to communicate to employee B. And then if we kind of move into employee B, then potentially this person will either be notified, hey, X, Y, and Z happened, you may want to reassess your meetings, or the AI will ask, would you like me to look at solutions? And again, I'm sure all these things will be configurable. And I'm really thinking like, I don't know if this truly even exists yet, and why not, right? So, but this is where I feel like why it's exciting to kind of think of these tools and the technologies, how they can work for us and embrace this and be very curious about it, the potential. So employee B's AI tells employee B by a notification, hey, employee A, X, Y, and Z changed some things, they're gonna be on time off. Here's some suggestions. Would you like me to execute yes, or do you want to manage this on your own? So then employee B is either gonna say, execute the changes for me. And what can that look like? So employee B's AI is gonna go to employee A's AI and tell them, hey, here's the available new time slots for these meetings. Can you go ahead and suggest the bookings? All this is being done in a way different way than what it would be right now. The reality is, in this current day and age, without AIs like this, basically, right, employee A would send an email, or they would forget, they would take the time off. Then when it's week prior to those meetings, employee B is like, oh, they're out of office. They didn't tell me, they didn't accept or reject the meeting invite. I needed this information. People also put, I'm gonna be going on vacation schedule like on their signatures. Again, think of the current state and how if everyone had like an AI assistant, how much more effective and efficient we would be to communicate on little small things that we don't necessarily have to have meetings on, for example. So I just wanted to use that example because I think I personally, like if I had the means and the way to make an idea become a reality and have a startup or something like that, this is something that I would love to explore. I mean, think of everyone in an office environment having a digital AI assistant that looks out for you. I mean, a way next level of using like NFC AirTags from Apple, for example, where if you scan your phone or geolocation senses that you get into your car, it can ask you, hey, do you want to do this? All this is being done auto pre-configured from you. And it's not about making us lazy and talking less. There's always something that we can never get to. Let's be real. There's always something that you cannot get to because you're super busy and things like that. So always think about what that can save you in time to prioritize something else. We always have things that we cannot get to because we're always reprioritizing. There's always fires. We're doing strategic work. We're doing tactical work. There's a lot of things going on. So I think that's something that's going to be a benefit. So in conclusion, to kind of close this off, I thank you for being in my first ever Tech Did This talk. This was hopefully a little bit enlightening, hopefully provokes a little bit of thoughts for you. Again, the major message that I wanted to give to you was there is fear, but embrace it as best as you can. Think of learning about it. Think of if there's potentially going to be certifications in the future about it. Just start now, whether it's on your work side or your personal side. Of course, like respect confidential data. Don't use these platforms with work information. Definitely, please do not do that. But explore them on your own. Try to learn. There's so many new things in this day and age that people have become an expert in. YouTube content, IG content, Canva, for example, is a huge one. Loom is a new platform that's super popular to make educational or record videos and content in an easy way for instructors. There's a lot of these things that people don't know enough yet, but then as little by little people start learning them, they start talking about it, they start helping each other, sharing the knowledge and wealth of information. This is what, I really hope you kind of take away. And by the time you watch this video, a lot of this is probably going to either exist or never exist. I don't know. But I am just going to say that I'm super, super excited to see what opportunities this technology can provide. And there's a lot you have to keep on top of to maintain relevant, your talent, your education, so you can deliver consistently and also be, ahead of the game in terms of companies and where you work. Thanks so much for joining me. This is Ramon with Tech Did This.